What is up?
Okay. Hi, how's
Uday
it going?
Raj Singh. Welcome to the Vinamra Kasana show. You are an anomaly because I saw you on my Instagram feed saying, मेरे दोस्तों आप जवान हैं, आप खूबसूरत हैं, आप यंग हैं एंड आप इसी एटीट्यूड को लेके अपनी जिंदगी में you should go forth. And I was surprised, number one, by your attire because you were in a velvet
अच्छा.
suit playing at Piano Man as the front man of a band that I don't know the name of, which you will reveal, of course. And
Right.
it struck me by surprise because it looked like a throwback to the sort of times where I wish I was alive and I could have listened to that sort of showman band like music as an audience member. But I've never been to the Piano Man. And all I have for the sort of music that you perform, nostalgia. So I would love for you to just take me through that specific routine where you're the guy in the velvet jacket playing with the band, playing these blues songs, and doing this specific Hindi monologue. What is that? What is that reminiscent of? Is that are you trying to recreate 70s Bollywood Vijay Benedict?
I think it's reminiscent of Rishi Kapoor, Amitabh Bachchan, Mithun in Disco Dancer, that era, as in like late
Right.
70s, early 80s. So I think we've all seen those Hindi movies and we all understand that idiom well. So, and I think it really works. And I've written a lot of lines like that in the style of that. So I haven't like copied anything. But
course,
because
no,
I've
that's
watched
why-
enough Hindi movies.
Yeah, that's why I noticed how original it was, and that's one of the first reasons I hit you up because usually what someone would do, although there aren't many people like you who are trying to bring back this specific era of music, blending it with blues and jazz. But let me ask you another question. So, in order to clarify this for the audience as well, right?
Right.
Who are you and what do you exactly do?
So I'm Guy Velvet. That's my stage name, and shows करता हूँ, गाना गाता हूँ और ब्लूज हार्मोनिका बजाता हूँ, एंड बीच में थोड़े से मोनोलॉग्स कर लेता हूँ, थोड़े से स्किट्स कर लेता हूँ और जितना कर सकता हूँ लोगों का दिल बहलाता हूँ, चाहे वेटर हो, चाहे ग्राहक हो जो आके दारू खरीद रहे हैं. मेरे लिए तो सब बराबर है. मुझे तो
Right.
सबको एंटरटेन करना है.
Right. Let's talk about that. Why blues? Why rock? Right? Why jazz? In a country like India, where these genres are enjoyed by enthusiasts in private circles.
अच्छा, तो मेरा my opinion is slightly different. I think good music is for everyone to enjoy. That's
Of
one
course.
thing. Second is that it's the role of the entertainer or the presenter to make it accessible to all.
Right.
And I think कि ये misconception, all this misconception कि ये इस तरह का music ऐसे लोगों को सुनना चाहिए, इस तरह का music ऐसे लोगों को सुनना चाहिए, इससे ये सब elitism होता है और ये थोड़ा ख़राब होता है. I don't enjoy it. मुझे लगता है कि अपने आप को ज़्यादा seriously नहीं लेना चाहिए. You should take what you do seriously, but you shouldn't take yourself seriously. Give the craft its due, but you should take it easy on who you are and just take a back seat and enjoy.
Right. I only say that because when I was growing up and experimenting with different genres of music,
Right.
often introducing contemporary songs to my friends would invite the sort of reaction, bro, this is lit or this is amazing. But then when I would go specific into my own tastes, which were just developing using LimeWire downloads and downloading entire albums in a row that
You're
were from the
lucky you could do
70s or
that.
the 80s, standard classic rock ka jo ek starter package hota hai, doing all of that. Those weren't received as well. And then I started to believe as I grew up, even now, specifically in Delhi, at least to me as a layman who's been out enough, I noticed that rap, Sufi Bollywood, and
Right.
techno and house was what runs the clubs in Delhi. What makes the
Absolutely.
music culture in Delhi? No?
Absolutely. You're never going to have music like mine playing in Dear Donna or any of these places. But it's okay. I think there's a place for everything and everyone. मुझे पसंद नहीं है तो क्या है, मतलब आपको पसंद नहीं है, मुझे पसंद नहीं है तो, एंड द थिंग इज
Right.
एट द एंड ऑफ द डे लाइक फर्स्ट म्यूजिक शुड बी पर्सनल. आई एम ऑफ द ओपिनियन दैट इफ यू आर लिसनिंग टू समथिंग, यू आर एंजॉइंग समथिंग, पहले खुद के लिए, खुद की सेटिस्फैक्शन के लिए करो. You know, there are people who watch football so that they can meet their friends who you know, watch football and then hang out with them and have conversations on football.
Right.
मैं तो कंटेंट प्योरली अपने लिए कंज्यूम करता हूँ सबसे पहले, फिर मैं औरों के बारे में सोचता हूँ.
Correct. Correct. Have there been times when you are, you know, performing at, because you perform, I mean, before COVID second wave hit, you were performing regularly at the Piano Man. Are there other venues in and around Delhi and India that entertain blues showmen like yourself?
I think, like, even though I haven't played in B flat in Bangalore,
Right.
or High Spirits in Pune, or Bombay had what is that place called? Bombay has 2-3 places, and Cal has the famous someplace else. So they're like these pockets of these scenes which are happening everywhere in metropolitan cities, and that's the reality of it.
So do people not say your music style is anachronistic? Maybe you should add a bit of drum and bass to it.
I did. I did adapt. I adapted what I do.
Right.
I started making announcements in Hindi, and I started having fun with the system, and I started cracking jokes, and I started using the music at the back to talk about things which I felt, some serious, something which I thought, like, okay, how far can I push this? How much can I do till the venue is going to tolerate? So that's literally it. Like, you walk up to that boundary, then you come back, and then that's about it. That's how
Let's talk about favorite music genres, or maybe music discovery process when you're first starting out. You're roughly a decade older than I am. And with the advent of Spotify,
right,
and you know, other software as a service apps,
right,
algorithms have pretty much taken over our music's taste. They make
Right.
us listen to what we already like, right?
Yeah.
And as a result, I've said this often on my other podcast, that this has made us all take music as something that happens in the background. We listen to chill music now more than we listen to music with a sort of immersive, deep listening experience that you could maybe have when you're listening to a vinyl with no phone on yourself, just listening to the entire album cover to cover, right? What has your music discovery process been like when you were growing up, and how has that changed?
I'll answer this in two parts. One is, देखो, दोनों चीज़ों की अहमियत होती है ज़िंदगी में. Like एक मैकडॉनल्ड्स की बर्गर की, जो मतलब कुछ नहीं है, बाजू में मैकडॉनल्ड्स है, जल्दी से घुस के खा लिया. You can enjoy that, and you can enjoy a gourmet burger also, if you get what I mean.
Right.
Both things have, you know, like a place. And like, so the world was a very different place when I was growing up. Like when I was 13, that was 21 years ago when I was 13, and so I went to a boys boarding school, and there was less stuff there because Janta was all talking in Hindi and everything, and I went to school with 2 cassettes. One was a Elvis cassette and one was a Doors cassette.
Cassettes.
And
You're
then,
using cassettes.
Yeah, it was cassettes. No, I mean,
Are
CDs
these cassettes
existed.
in the back as well, or are these CDs?
No, those are CDs. That's my dad's CD collection, and there's a pile or 2 of mine also. But there was a dearth of stuff, right? So basically, when I went to school, it was the era of Limp Bizkit, and that was the Limp Bizkit and Stained and Creed and all of that.
Right.
So people had cassettes of that, so we'd exchange that. So one day I'd get a cassette of, let's say, like a Jethro Tull. Other day I heard some Metallica, S&M. One day I heard some there's a movie that came out that year called Love के लिए कुछ भी करेगा, उसके 3-4 गाने सुन लिए. So it was like whatever you got your hands on. Yeah. So you heard it all. Like because
Yeah, so
batteries
wait.
were expensive.
So different kids in this boarding school would bring different cassettes, and you would trade cassettes,
Yeah,
and that would cause
trade क्या borrow
discovery
कर
to
लिया
happen.
मतलब. Yeah, I mean it was based on what you had. No, it wasn't के मतलब it wasn't like this era where एक बटन दबाया मतलब जो मिल गया.
Related artists सुन लिया Spotify पे, इससे मिलते जुलते कौन से हैं?
हाँ मतलब इसका भी I mean it's a double-edged sword.
Right.
It's great.
No, I'm only asking
because you can.
My music discovery process has been very choppy and fragmented. Now, because you
Right.
had the luxury of number one, not the privilege of like being in a time where you have to sort of look for music more intently. Otherwise, it would not happen to you, right? Otherwise, you would just pretty much listen to the same stuff that everyone else was listening to. And getting
Huh.
Jethro Tull CDs in a random boarding school in India, which is music that was made in the 70s, is very reminiscent of the sort of love and nostalgia that a lot of us classic rock fans or rock fans feel for a time that wasn't
Right.
even ours. Like I find it very weird that Indian kids will become
this
14 or
stuff-
15.
This is where the difference was 20 years ago. These boundaries weren't there that exist today. Because the thing about rock music, I've been a part of this rock music thing for a very, very long time, right? I've heard it all from fucking Deep Purple to Korn,
Right.
and to this Mogwai. So it's just like it's completely different eras and stuff. But back
Mogwai
in
is, by the way,
there were no
new, right?
distinctions.
Mogwai is neo-contemporary psychedelic rock.
No, I haven't heard the new album, man. I heard the album from like 2014 or 15.
Okay.
That was a very good one. And then I saw them at NH7 also. Great performance. So anyway, come back to my point. My point was these distinctions and these boundaries didn't exist. If you were a rock listener, you heard Deep Purple, and you heard Creed, and you heard you heard it all because it didn't matter. It was rock music, and rock music is a tradition, So most people didn't have that. There were people who just listen to music off the day, so they'd be like कि हम खाली Linkin Park सुनेंगे या जो अभी निकला है, जैसे Limp Bizkit है वो सुनेंगे. That was another fundamental difference. Even that guy who you meet at the gym, who hangs around in a banyan, was listening to Linkin Park and Limp Bizkit. Now they've progressed on to some like completely electronic music and stuff, but there was a lot of rock music which people were listening, and I think I caught the we caught the tail end of the rock music becoming irrelevant and coming out of the charts era.
Yeah, it's been a while since
It's been a while.
an Indian rock song has struck us all by surprise. And I'm not even saying as a country. I'm saying like in a small city, like, oh my God, I can think of Rock On or as the last film that attempted to do something about this, to sort of say,
2008 है ना?
and that's a long
2008.
time ago, bro.
That's 2008 is a very different. I mean, I remember like I had a job or something that year, and some guys coming up to me in my office and saying, "Hey, have you seen this movie? It's about musicians like you." And I'm
Musicians.
like, "Fuck!" I was like, "Fuck you guys! Like, I don't want to be a part of this nonsense, right?"
Right.
But then I was just like, "यार, मैं नहीं समझा सकता." But ठीक है.
Right.
Like whatever, like if you look at Shankar Ehsaan Loy, they're good songwriters and they're good
Right.
musicians. मुझे पसंद नहीं था. That was the only movie of theirs which music मुझे पसंद नहीं है. But like there were other movies where they did good music. Yeah. Rock On was a little
Interesting.
contrived. Then that Imtiaz Ali's Rockstar was
Horrible.
horrible.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we can talk about that because I think that what the movie got wrong is this. First of all, you get this kid who's like, I'm going to be like Jim Morrison, which is what most kids want if they ever listen to rock and roll. He's often a figure who attracts and charms the best. I know it because on this wall also there is Baron. The main poster on the wall was Jim Morrison looking at me like Christ the Redeemer. Like that? With
that's
this
the
limp
from
frame.
American Poet.
Right. And I'm also a poet, and so I really enjoyed his spoken word poetry albums. But it's the first sort of guy that you want to be like, because he has these things. The way he says things, the way he seduces you almost with that there is something deeper, there is something beyond than Creedence Clearwater Revival or Fortunate Son,
It's
all
a
that.
modern.
Right.
He's a philosopher, film student. Uh, just some guy in his 20s with a freakishly high IQ, with some very self-destructive tendencies.
That's a great way to put it. Did you ever end up idolizing these rock stars
Of
from
course.
the 70s, the 27 Club specifically?
Absolutely. I mean, I love Jim Morrison. I love Hendrix. I've heard all of them work extensively. I know a lot about their life because I've read their biographies, and just stories here and there, and just what they've had to go through, and it's almost it's crazy that you mentioned some of this, because people who play rock music now don't have those problems because उसमें budget ही नहीं है. मतलब अब हमारे like rock musicians के पास cocaine addiction का budget ही नहीं है. तो मतलब वो सारा अब वो EDM वालों के पास होता है. So all those problems those guys have, of making it too big too early in life ना, जिससे किसी 20-21 साल के लड़के का दिमाग खराब हो गया. And अब तो ज़माना काफ़ी different है. There is more there's so much more involvement from like the record label, everything. पहले भी होता था. People record labels and all used to put their feet down and everything, but there was a brief while in the 60s where experimentation was this thing of the day, where मतलब they were okay with saying कि यार हम लोग कुछ भी try कर लेंगे. After that, what started happening was they understood what, as the years went by, what makes money better and better. So that's why you heard a lot of different kind of music from the 60s, right? When you hear something like The Doors, and you hear something like Beatles, or you hear something like Rolling Stones or The Who or something, they had things which are obviously like from that era, but there's also some really unique stuff that each of this music gives you. And that was this era of experimentation, and that died. That died with as the decade ended, and disco kicked in.
Yeah. Did you ever listen to Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention?
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's the only.
Plus.
There are many iconoclasts, many avant-garde musicians from that era, but like the one that is.
So this is his opinion. Sorry.
The one that is branded like he was so bizarre and experimental. That's the first name that comes up in the list. Frank Zappa.
Yeah, I mean, there's him. There's this Captain Beefheart.
Captain Beefheart
who
as well.
Who's also collaborated with him considerably. You have more guys who really pushed. You should hear a band called Focus. They did a song called Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus is their song, right?
Yeah, song.
Hocus Pocus by Focus.
And you hear something like Edgar Winter's Frankenstein.
Yeah, I love that. Free Ride also is a song by Edgar Winter.
Yeah. Free Ride Free Ride's like a more pop.
Right. It's a prevalent song. It's something song. I heard in Dazed and Confused. That film that came out by Richard Linklater.
I haven't seen that. I know what it is, but I haven't seen it.
It's basically about these high school kids who are in 11th grade going to 12th grade, and they're like, let us drive around aimlessly in this small town because there's nothing to do, and get high and listen to great rock music, right? So as an Indian kid growing up, I'm like, that's exactly the sort of life I want. But then I go out and I'm like, bro, industrial hawa mar jaunga main. So anyway, yeah. So we were talking about.
चीज थी. पहले हवा भी साफ थी. मतलब when I was 16, 17 or 20, 23, 24, हवा साफ थी. मतलब हम लोग सब अपने iPod वगैरह लगा के शाम को निकल जाते थे walk पे. You just got out.
Tell me about cars. Tell me about cars and car stereos at the time. How would you use them? How would you listen to music in a group with a bunch of friends in a car?
I think it's just if you left your cassettes out on the deck, they'd warp. CDs भी खराब हो जाती थी. Like
if you left the cassettes out in the sun, like out, they would
warp.
Get damaged.
They warped. as in like it's the reel would start giving issues and stuff. The thing would melt also. I've seen stuff melt. Like I've
The
seen
plastic
things like
or the
CDs,
reel inside the cassette?
both. Even the cassette, and I've even seen CD covers and CDs melt and go bad. So you had to be really careful that you left them in a shadier spot.
Because of the Delhi
Right?
heat?
There was a think about it, man. There's 40 degrees outside. It's like a solar cooker, quite literally.
I was reminiscing the times when there was something. I think our attention spans were slightly better. I remember when I was 15 or 16, and a friend would be like, "Hey, have you listened to this specific song?" And everyone would be like, "No, but let's play it." And they would use something like a pen drive or an aux wire, and then they would play it. I could see all of us listening to the song from the start till the end and having different aha moments depending on if we loved that genre. Did you guys have that?
Absolutely, man. I still remember the first time I heard Led Zeppelin. I remember the first time I heard Led Zeppelin. I remember the first time that I heard AC/DC.
Yeah.
To me it sounded like John Fogerty with a bad throat. Like just some little things like this now which I can't pinpoint as much because
Right.
now memories they're tougher to form, right? When everything is a click away. And so I remember the first time I heard Back in Black. I remember the first time I heard Led Zeppelin. I remember my Deep Purple cassette very well.
When I first heard Led Zeppelin became my favorite band for at least 4 years. Then it got replaced by other genres when I first, then I introduced Spotify. But I remember wanting so badly to sing like Robert Plant and to play like Jimmy Page and to start being a part of absolutely horrible, musically untalented bands or lose ways, excuses to get high and play music that halfway sounded decent. And but there was something about Led Zeppelin that now I look back and I'm like, that's a bit juvenile. But like the 16-year-old in me can really appreciate the heaviness with which Led Zeppelin's music strikes at you. It isn't the same from any of the rock groups of the 70s, even Black Sabbath for that matter. That there's a very heavy sound that Led Zeppelin delivers that is so fresh that my ears were not used to, and I listened to everything after that.
So these are the few bands that paved the way for metal, and it's just these are the few bands that paved the way for metal and
for metal, right?
For metal and just
Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin, and there's a third one, Deep Purple. They were called the unholy trinity of British rock.
Yeah.
Because they had heavier sounds, proto metal almost. I would say that they were pretty.
I think there were also other bands. There were like this Vanilla Fudge, this Iron Butterfly, those two definitely like come top of my mind if I think of bands that paved the way for.
Sorry. Also, could you be
bands that paved the way for hard rock?
Could you also be closer to the phone just a little bit? It's getting harder to hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw on Instagram that you ended up in Catskill, New York. For the people who are listeners who are tuning in who do not know what that means, Catskill is roughly the place where
Tyson trained.
Woodstock happened, right?
Yeah, Mike Tyson trained.
Mike Tyson,
the heavyweight boxer.
Yeah.
He trained in that area.
Okay.
Woodstock is nearby. So you cross Catskills to you cross it and then you cross the town of Woodstock, and even further than Woodstock is Yasgur's farm where Woodstock actually happened. So
right,
they're all three different places.
Yeah,
in the vicinity, in the vicinity, but like all three different places. Yeah.
No, I know about the farm. I just did not know that Catskills is a separate place. I'm basing it on your post. I had such a strange fascination with Woodstock because after, once you go through the internet trying to figure out where your idols played, what was the culture, that gave birth to the sort of rock that you listen to. Woodstock seems to have played a very essential role in all of that. And I had posters around Woodstock, hoping that if they ever did a contemporary festival, I would do it. And finding myself being strangely nostalgic of that time, even though as I saw the footage, and I mean, I've read some accounts, it wasn't as pleasant. For most people, it was a shit show. For some, it was divine. As a rock fan, you went there. Did you feel that, oh my God, this is the mecca of where great music was made? Or were you like, this is just nothing?
I think it's just what strikes you more than that is just the sheer beauty of the place. Like it's got waterfalls. It's got waterfalls. It's got this forest. It's got rivers. It's like natural beauty, which exists in India, but like is really really far from Delhi.
Right, upstate
So
New
you
York
can't
is
believe
beautiful. I've
that
been
you
there.
Exactly. It's like it's not it's an hour away, hour and a half away, and you really wonder how you could you can have a bustling metropolis like New York, and then you can have place like Catskills in the same this thing. But yeah, you get that larger than life kind of aura. When you see people still like wearing tie and dye, tie and dye
मुझे तो
stuff.
हंसी आती है
and,
यार
like,
tie dye देख के कि अभी भी come on.
हाँ, थोड़ा दम मारो दम हो गया और
Exactly.
it's
Have
also
you
become a-
listened to the lyrics of Dam Maro Dam, by the way?
हाँ, अब मुझे याद ऐसे तो पूरे
It's
तो
like-
याद नहीं. मिट जाए सारे गम इज दम मारो दम मिट जाए सारे गम.
मेरे को वो लगता है इट्स अ वेरी चीप लो रेजोल्यूशन कॉपी की. अगर इंडिया में हिप्पी होते तो बस दम मार के दूर हो जाओ, क्योंकि दुनिया ने हमें कुछ दिया ही नहीं, हम ऐसे वैसे हैं. I never really could understand why. I mean, I'm sure I know why it did not kick off, because it's just a very low resolution idea. India didn't really have a concept of hippies ever. It was always us trying to see what we could be like if we imitated slightly जैसे Western hippies होते हैं.
मतलब यहाँ तो थोड़ा सा थोड़ा नॉन कन्फॉर्मिज्म यहाँ भी आया from I knew some friends of mine who played music in the late 60s and early 70s. तो उनसे पूछता हूँ तो they try and tell that they say that we had a tough time. We had to make our own guitars and we had to make our own amplifiers. You kids have had it easy. They got flack. They actually got flack for growing their hair long. And
Not the sort of flag that you get in school कि बाल लंबे हैं इसके.
नहीं मतलब सबसे. And the thing about like having to organize your own music festivals and stuff. So our forefathers in India who played rock music or played live music in general, today we're really standing on their shoulders.
Of course. Do you know about Atomic Forest?
Yeah, I think it's Nandu Bhende's band.
Who?
Nandu Bhende.
Is that person alive?
No, Nandu Bhende died 5 years back, but I knew someone else who's also in Atomic Forest. It's a Bombay band.
I know.
It's a Bombay band. I think it was Nandu Bhende's band. So they did like Deep Purple covers and.
Yeah, they did Deep Purple covers. They did Jethro Tull covers. They made psychedelic funk. You'd be surprised. I was in Boston, right next to where I went to college, Boston University, and I went to a record store and I was picking through stuff. I got a brand new vinyl of Atomic Forest's album Obsession 77, which was their only album at the time. And some other album had been pressed onto the vinyl. And so I took it out and I played it right there, and then both the owner and I were in disbelief. How is that possible? Then he gave me another copy. But for me, it was surprising because this band, I first discovered via, I started searching the internet for psychedelic rock bands of India until I found like an old Rolling Stone magazine article or somewhere where it had like a faint story about them. And then the author G. Tile wrote about them extensively because he was also a member of the band briefly. He now runs a noise rock outfit called HMT. But for me, that was incredible that some kind of psychedelic funk was being made in India. And these guys performed in the basement of one of their grandmother's brothel, which was super cool.
Okay, that's crazy though. But I mean, I just wish some of this music had survived, and people. I mean, so that we can archive it. Someone had archived it so that we could listen to it. It's a real pity. because the bands like Great Society, High, so many bands from Calcutta, and
Calcutta?
all
Did
all that
Calcutta have a
music.
big rock scene?
Calcutta had a big live music scene in general, so they had a lot of like a wide variety of music, with drummers like Nandan Bagchi and this guy called Amit Datta, who played for Skinny Alley. And Cal had a thriving scene, but like most places, like in like Cal and Goa are similar in that aspect, is that it's very incest. That people end up only playing within the city and just they don't travel around much, and so they have like these thriving local scenes, and then they get content, and then they don't move out. It's sort of like JNU. You have some dysfunctional human beings who like live in JNU, and then they can't get themselves to leave, so they're there 15 years later also, because
That's
they
a
just
very
like the
strange
life
thing.
so much.
Yeah, I never thought that about JNU, but that's so true. Wow. Have you listened to Aaj Shanibar by Rupa?
Nahi, what is this?
Bro. So, you know who crate diggers are? People who, dig through past vinyls, right? And then reintroduce new music from the past back into culture.
Okay.
So some crate digger was digging through a bunch of vinyls. Eventually he discovered this album called Disco Jazz by Rupa.
Oh, okay.
It was made in 1982. And
okay.
it was one of those swan song like albums where you pursue music as a hobby and you're like, this is maybe not for me, and then you pick up traditional life. Then years later you become a celebrity because of the resurfacing of these songs. So Rupa is an old lady right now, lives in Canada, but I will send you the link. It is on Spotify. It is phenomenal. I've never seen. Sorry,
I've heard some similar stuff. So I heard you won't believe it. I've heard Sindhi disco, and I've heard lots of disco in Bengali.
So this is disco in Bengali.
Maybe this is the same stuff. It's really good. I mean, like, they're really good musicians.
Yeah, what I noticed the most is, even when we were हमने जब ये बात शुरुआत करी कि the Bollywood disco songs that Mithun had, or the songs that are commissioned to be played in the films,
right,
were constrained by one time. Second, the average Indian listener would not enjoy a long tangent into just an organ playing for a while. But these songs had that. They didn't have those limitations. So I don't even understand Bengali, but the song Aaj Shanibar is so good. It relies like Aaj Shanibar, chalo, naach pe chalo yaar. Bahut badhiya gaana hai. You should definitely check it out.
Right. I enjoy disco. I enjoy the Hindi disco as well.
Yeah, it's my favorite genre as well.
Pyar ka saathi mil gaya.
And then what is the song called? Mil Gaya.
Mil Gaya. It's our take on Mamma Mia.
Acha, हाँ.
It's our take on Mamma Mia. I like the whole Meri Umar ke Naujawano.
वो भी अच्छा है. But it's too much in common parlance. So I always try to find out if I can एक भी ऐसा मिल जाए. There was a new movie that came out a couple of years ago called Daddy.
Huh.
है ना? They have this song. What they did is they resurfaced Vijay Benedict audios from the 70s. And they put it in the song. And it's called Zindagi Meri Dance Dance. So
I've heard that. Yeah.
It was that I like a lot. It's new disco. But it's
like, but it's Bappy-esque. It's got the so it's got all of that, the whole Bappy signature only.
Right. What is Bappy's signature? ये boogie woogie type की sound जो आ रही है.
मैं एक disco, तू एक disco 82, and the
right.
And so he does a couple of these things which are like signature Bappy. Gunmaster 82. Gunmaster is this iconic Mithun movie. That's also worth checking out.
Have you listened to Kasam Paida Karne Wale ki?
He sounds familiar.
Nahi.
I mean, I know what it is.
It's not like a disco song. It's more like an epic song about why he's wronged, but it's done in a disco. तो
I have to hear this again.
bro, it's the
it
music
sounds
video
very
is
familiar.
hilarious. It shows Mithun Chakrabarti dancing in disco in the most weird outfit possible, stripes यहाँ पे black ऐसे, and then Amrish Puri is admiring him. So there are these two parallel shots of Amrish Puri admiring Mithun, and Mithun just going like this and speaking about how he's been wronged. And then there is a horrible moment where the background dancers, who are also all torso naked men, by the way, right? Have blackface. They're doing blackface. Taken number one.
Oh shit! For real?
For real.
Oh.
There is also a Bollywood movie. Wait, let me finish this and I'll tell you about this other Bollywood movie. But so that, and then Mithun has got background female dancers in chains, like they're dogs, and he's going like this and they're moving, and I'm like, this.
So it's got some BDSM
shit.
So it's got BDSM. It's got blackface.
Bro, it's got everything. But I was like, bro, what the fuck? How is it? And then there is other song where Amitabh Bachchan is playing this. I don't even know what he's playing. And there's, Hema Malini in the song. They're not doing blackface. They're doing rose face, right? But it's like even Amitabh Bachchan is in blackface. Hema Malini is in rose face.
Right.
And the song is Gore nahi hum kale hi sahi.
We had the other one when we were growing up, which was like, हम काले हैं तो क्या हुआ लेकिन दिल वाले हैं.
Right. But ये अलग ही है. I'm just surprised by it. The 70s. Do you remember like how the disco ball meant like you were in a disco in these music videos?
Yeah.
Without the disco ball and the bell-bottom shoes, you would be anywhere else.
Yeah, but I think budget. I mean, with house, that's what made it look fancy. If it was a little bit higher production, then you would have that spinning disc. जिस पे सब लोग नाचते थे.
Right.
That's what it looked like. के मतलब, wow, we're going for like a expensive production kind of. That was our whatever Broadway. It was our Broadway.
Bro, the song Zindagi Meri Dance Dance, which you've also heard, has got. Why I love that? Because of the monologue part, which is what you do in your performances as well. He's got this entire monologue where he's like, हम सब आपको एक महबूबा चांद से उतर कर प्यार की मस्ती में आपके सामने डांस करेगी. And you know how Vijay Benedict sounds. His voice sounds like disco. And so he says that, and then the Mahbooba comes, she's like, hello, darling, I want to dance with you. Dance of love. Dance to the moon. Song starts, and then it's all about कि कैसे हम पहले मार्स जाएंगे, फिर हम वीनस जाएंगे, और वीनस जाने के लिए काउंटडाउन शुरू होता है. 6, 7, नहीं, it's like 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it's like Venus, we are Venus. I'm like, I don't even know how these. It's like watching porn. You know why? Because porn origin stories make no sense.
हिंदी मूवी में मैंने तो बहुत ज़्यादा अजीब चीज़ें देखी हैं. I've seen some really bizarre things. Such as there is a 96 movie of Akshay Kumar in which he's running around in a park and he's surrounded with some odd 20-30 kids who are running behind him, and they're all singing Su 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 aa gayi main kya karoon, su su su. And this is actually a song. You can search for it. You can go on YouTube and type Akshay Kumar Susu Aa Gayi. It's a song which, like legit playback singers have like sung to, and they've gone home. They've actually made like moolah of that stuff.
Right.
So, and I heard it back in the day, and I was just like, this can't be real. Like, I heard it as an 8-year-old, and I was like, ये कुछ मजाक हो रहा है, कुछ गंदा मजाक हो रहा है मेरे साथ, because I can't. It was so ridiculous. Even as an 8-year-old, I couldn't fathom it. Right?
Yeah.
One was that, and then of course we've had some other really weird shit like the बोतलों में डालूंगी शराब बन जाऊंगी, प्लेटों में डालूंगी कबाब बन जाऊंगी type.
ये तो recent है. This sounds like Badshah.
नहीं, this is fucking 25 years ago.
Yeah.
90s was a really anything goes era. Anything goes era. Like if you see the Kanti Shah movies, if you see Loha, Gunda, and Shera, I'd say obviously Gunda got a lot of this thing because of your pretentious movie reviews and stuff, but Shera is the really crazy one. It's got, and you almost feel like the censor board doesn't exist because they're all swearing and they're like, it's quite crazy. And वो पीछे से मतलब वो it starts with कि वो Star Wars की theme बज रही है, and literally there's a chopper that comes and Dharminder's walking नीचे पीछे से टा 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 टा, मतलब plagiarism तो
हमारे खून में है ब्रो. क्या बात है. You have to go to an American university to realize all you've been doing your life is wrong when they're like हम permit नहीं करेंगे ये.
वो पहले जमाने में चलता था यार, like मतलब
यार मैं ना I've been trying to ask people this. I've been trying to ask people this. What is the song यार, the song by Europe called Final Countdown, वो हिंदी पिक्चर में कौन से गाने में आया है, उसकी ट्यून वो जो वो नहीं है
आया है
पॉडकास्ट में पूछा था किसी से मैंने. हाँ वो बता नहीं पाया.
I think it's a Aditya Pancholi movie, which there's cricket, which he's a cricketer, and Dev Anand is his father.
अच्छा.
I've seen it, but I can't remember the name. But it's something to do.
I feel that.
Something to do, because I can't have these pressing questions in my mind, right? I have to.
I know. चलो इसको एक let's take it in a different direction a bit. What's like some new cool music you listen to nowadays?
I think Anderson .Paak was nice. I thought that was quite nice. Anderson .Paak,
yeah.
I heard some Anderson .Paak. That's nice, man. That's like, it's got like some James Brown kind of. It's really cool. Then there's just like I heard some Khruangbin. That was nice too. That was also
Khruangbin.
nice.
Oh, I saw them live in Oro. A couple of years ago they came.
I was there for that gig too, and I saw them at Macfields as well. Great band, great performance. Really enjoy that stuff.
I'm surprised how to characterize them, because it all starts with the guitar riffs, and then you have Laura Lizzie sexily playing the bass, and that the guy in the back, Khruang Beans, doing the drums.
Right.
And are they psychedelic rock? Are they new age Tame Impala, cousins, neighbors? It's very hard to place them.
It's I'll tell you what it is. It's funk with some Eastern kind of melodies. Like they have like a lot of this Thai kind of melodies, so it becomes very soundtracky. So it seems like a soundtrack from a 90s, 70s, like a martial arts kind of movie. It's like so it's got some of the Enter the Dragon kind of vibe, and it's got this obviously this classic James Brown thing, and that they do, and so it's a mix of a bunch of things. It sounds like a soundtrack from a 70s movie.
Yeah, because the lead guitarist, I forget his name, that guy, his entire Instagram is filled with filtered images of Indonesian, like Eastern cities.
I tried to talk to that guy, but he didn't give me any clear answers.
He's supposed to be mysterious. That's what he does.
I tried to ask him a bunch of things. Like, I know this song. Like, do you also listen to some of this stuff? So, but he was like kind of playing it vague. And they were nice guys. We hung out with them and stuff a little bit. But yeah, it was. They're not obviously candid about their sources, and I don't know.
Do musicians do that? Is that like a standard trend? Would you do that perhaps?
No, I enjoy a good conversation in general.
No, what I mean is like when you try to figure out someone's sound, right? Like, oh, have you listened to these guys and stuff after a concert? Is that how musicians generally react? Or have you seen people just trying to be very quiet about how they derive their music, where they derive their music from?
तो अब देखो यार, अगर तुमने डायरेक्टली चोरी नहीं करी है तो बात कर लेना चाहिए. And the other thing is obviously के some people like want that aura of mystery,
right?
Which is understandable, right? And some people are just not fucking friendly. who want to have a conversation and just like, you know, some people also just like, or maybe some people are fried or in a different headspace.
Right.
But
What do you think of Tame Impala's new sounds from they came on the scene? Kevin Parker came on the scene through Lone Rhythm and Inner Speaker, and now it's become more adapted to the times. What do you think about that?
I don't know, man. Everyone's trying to stay relevant. I mean, whatever I heard that Coldplay's what Coldplay was when I was in school.
Oh, it was phenomenal.
And what Coldplay is today, they're two different things altogether. तो देखो popularity वाली game सबको खेलनी है, and जिसकी दुकान कैसे भी चले, that kudos to them. Would I listen to it? No, but people have to evolve. Yeah, मतलब even if you listen to U2 also, like what U2 sounded like in the 80s and in the early 90s, and then when they came out with that whole it's a
I never listened to U2 by the way, huh?
And anyway, I'm saying how they transitioned into the millennium, how U2 transitioned into the millennium is their sound kind of evolved, but they kept something which was integral to their music. They always kept it, right? Now when I hear Coldplay and stuff like this, they sound completely different. And about the new Tame Impala stuff, I have to give that a more sincere listen to have a solid opinion on it, because to me, like, bands like Tame Impala and Arctic Monkeys and Black Keys are all in a similar kind of boat.
How so?
You know, as in like they made their success at a time when rock wasn't dead, but it wasn't thriving either.
Correct.
So they were in that twilight. They made their careers in that twilight zone, and obviously they all have great songs and stuff. They have great songs, and it's relatable. It till date it's kind of relatable. But now what people are doing is just to me it's obviously it's a struggle to keep, because even if I heard Jack White's album from 2018 or something, I enjoyed it, but thoda sa khichdi hai, like in the sense that it's just he's trying too many things. He wants, you know, some hip hop samples, some this, you know, like it's that what is the thing called those, you know, anyway, the terms are coming to my head, but just a bunch of these things, you know, which they weren't doing earlier, but they're kind of doing now to kind of keep up with the times and stuff. ठीक है, लोगों को करना पड़ता है, but I mean, everyone does it. Even Bob Dylan had a 80s album, which is horrible, but कोई किस ना किसी ने तो खरीदी ही होगी.
Who's the third best guitarist of the world? After we exclude Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix, and Jimmy Page, what's the fourth name that's taken often? Jeff Beck? Jeff Beck, right?
All great, man. I think it's unfair.
He has an album that came out in 2016 or 2018.
I heard it.
What did you think about it? It sounded like Skrillex in the background.
So again, he's gone the Mad Max Junkie XL kind of, you know, with that kind of production. He's kept that kind of production in mind. So it's got like these big booms and these big R's, and it's got this cinematic kind of feel. I don't know. No great songs. Nothing. There's nothing to take home. I mean, it's a great oral experience when you listen to it. But beyond the point, yeah, it's all the same. There has to be something memorable, right? How are you taking it? How are you taking it further? Or how are you contributing? Naam ka to album sab routinely and every big artist can keep churning out an album till the day they die. It's not like Mark Knopfler or something who every time he writes an album or something, it's meaningful. Also, all of this is just really subjective by the end of the day.
Of course. I mean, we're just two enthusiasts talking about our own opinions about it, which we can, because it's our podcast. So we can do whatever the fuck we want.
Exactly. So, you know, there's nothing written in stone, but it is difficult for people who play instruments in general, people who aren't established, because the bigger established artists will keep putting out will keep putting out music because they can afford to do it. Right? Even AC/DC came out with an album a year ago, maybe? Or 2 years ago. AC/DC's come out with an album after Black Ice.
Ek minute. I'm on my thing. Wait. It's called, they came out with one in 2020 called Power Up.
Yeah, it's
what?
Exactly. So
that's crazy.
There you go, man. So established acts will keep doing what they can do, you know. They have the money, they have the power, but there is no this thing for the newer rock bands that are coming. There's nothing.
What do you think about the Indian rock band scene right now? There are a couple of bands that strike out. Parvaz, as we keep searching. I don't know any other bands on the top of my head.
नहीं है यार. पहले तो मुझे Superfast पसंद था. Like Superfast is a great band. There was Thermal and Quarter was nice. We had Soulmate. That was a blues band, but okay, whatever. Blues rock band. There's Blackstrat Blues. There's Scrat from Chennai. There are good bands here, man. I mean, it's not like they are people who write good songs and like credit to them, but इसमें obviously पैसे नहीं है, so obviously a lot of people can't sustain it for long. Their act is works well for college students, and
right.
You know, but the thing is, what do you do when you're 30? You know, when you're in college, it's all great. When you're 20, 21, it's all great because you're still appealing to kids. And everyone knows that kids don't pick up big tabs at bars. Because
they do not.
Even if they fill out the place, they're not picking up big tabs. So it looks good from a, like...
Yeah, look, three people sharing a beer. I know that.
So they pack out the place, but it's not good business, unfortunately. So people maybe have to try and reinvent themselves now. I mean, are they writing good songs? Yeah, they're writing good songs. You interviewed Suryakant. Peter Cat has good songs.
Yeah.
He knows how to write songs. Whether I like them or not, it doesn't matter. But he knows how to write good songs. Right. Songs that people sing back. And unless you don't do that, you're not really in the business of writing music.
That's a very good observation. Because I've noticed, this is what I noticed about Indian rockers, singing in English. 80% of the times when I first listened to these bands, I could not decipher the lyrics. And that stood now I understand shoegaze and lo-fi rock music of America and of the UK and of these other countries, because sure, that's a genre. But if you're an Indian band trying to speak and sing in English, the least you can do is be decipherable. Because if your lyrics aren't decipherable, you will be कि अच्छा English band है पर समझ नहीं आता क्या बोल रहे हैं. And I think you need that.
I think कि खैर अगर समझ भी आ रहा है, songwriting is a different craft. Yeah. Unfortunately, everybody can't write. Unfortunately, that's the you can work at it, you can get better at it, but there is one thing in this which is like there is a spark. There are people who can write, and then there are people who can't write. There are people. It's with books also. Just because your English is good doesn't mean कि तुम novel लिख सकते हो.
Right.
गानों के साथ भी कोई कुछ different नहीं है. हर कोई नहीं लिख सकता गाने. And पहले people, सबसे बड़ी गलती यहाँ होती है indie musicians की कि उन्हें song writing समझ नहीं आता कि clearly क्या होता क्या है. Like what is a verse and what is a chorus. Right. So if your chorus is very long, it's not really a chorus. Right. And if your verse, if you've used if you've used 3 words from your verse to title your song, you're kind of defying the norm. You can't say, look, I'm trying to write pop music and then not adhere to the pop format and not say that, look, I haven't studied songwriting enough so that I know how to make my sections clear. How big is my verse? How big is my chorus stand out? Does it highlight what the song is about? So first crack that. crack the most basic of basic songwriting formats, right? Before trying to do something which is so, you maybe your head is bursting with ideas. And the other thing people don't do over here is edit. Fucking sit down and edit. Chop down words which are unnecessary. It's a song. You know, you're not Leonard Cohen. Chop it the fuck down, you know. Or third thing is life experience. अगर आपका life experience सस्ता है, अगर आप डियर डोना जैसी जगह जाके दारू पीते हो, औरों में पार्टी करते हो, और आपके पास आप घूमे नहीं हो, you don't have any rich life experience, your music and your art is going to be sucky and boring. Because people are going to say कि यार nobody wants to see another, rich kid rant with some half-assed lyrics. मतलब आधे मन से कुछ lyrics लिखे, बस गाना निकालना है मुझे किसी भी तरीके से. गाना निकाल, ओरिजिनल म्यूजिक निकालो, शौक से निकालो.
You just ripped a bunch of assholes.
Or
it's true though.
The third thing is what's similar between Kurt Cobain and Billie Eilish, I hate to say it, is that they can actually get some angst across. In a meaningful way. I don't like Billie Eilish, whatever, but she gets angst across in a way which is relatable to, But everybody can't do music which is a downer. Doing music which is downer well is much harder than doing music which has feel good factor. If you're doing music which is downer and you're writing about these really meaningless fucking breakups and कि तुम्हारे कुछ हो गया, तुम्हारा मतलब उसने तुम्हारे calls return नहीं करे or whatever, after a point कि मुझे सपने दिखा के, this is a very common theme हो रही है, मुझे सपने दिखाएं और तीसरे दिन पे तू कट लिया. And why do you have to do this? मुझे सपने क्यों दिखाएं अगर तुझे तीसरे दिन पे कटना था? तो मतलब like I don't understand this nonsense, Every third girl is just like that, all sitting and pata hai, theek hai, I know, I understand daddy is funding your extracurricular activities. And maybe your dad thinks you're cute, right? Maybe your family thinks you're cute and, encourages this. Right. But to the rest of the world, you just come across as a privileged hack. Like a privileged hack who's just filling out something on the side. कि सब जानते हैं कि थोड़े टाइम के लिए करोगे, उसके बाद या तो तुम्हारी शादी होने वाली है या तुम or you're going to start doing a job or something else. So it's just like, okay, even I sometimes feel like I should write about serious issues and stuff like that, but it's not in line with the entertainment that I do. And the thing is, if it's entertainment, then there has to be some kind of feel-good factor to it. If there is no feel-good factor to it, people are not going to consume alcohol. People are not going to buy tickets. People are not going to talk about it. They're less likely to do it. Your numbers are going to come down. So everybody is not Kurt Cobain or Pankaj Udhas or Billie Eilish. सबके बस की नहीं होती कि मतलब अपने दर्द का आर्ट बनाना. You have to make people feel happy. You have to make people feel like they're in a good mood. Otherwise, guess what? They're gonna get up and leave in droves. I've seen this. If you're not hacking it, tables will start clearing out one by one. उठ के लोग चले जाने लग जाते हैं.
Has this happened to you?
Absolutely. एक बार तोड़ना हो यार. ऐसे तो सीखता है आदमी यार. It's a trial by combat यार. Like कोई मतलब ऐसे कोई I wasn't कि कोई what do you call it? Like I wasn't a child prodigy or something. धक्के का आए बहनचो तो तब उसी के बाद तो like it's reached a point where
right. So tell me, ये people leaving, were you trying like a sad blues song, a slow blues song?
It's not that, yaar. It's I've always had the opinion. It takes time, yaar. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, it just takes time. You have to do it to know what works for you and what your best foot forward is. Like, I'm 34 next month. And I'm feeling like now I've kind of figured out how I can really make people enjoy at a show. I feel so, right? Now I'm getting a like consistent, but it's experience, right? So I didn't feel कि यार के audience में गलती है या ये blues नहीं सुनते या ये नहीं सुनते वो नहीं सुनते. मेरा mindset ऐसे नहीं था. I said नचाओ पहनचोद. Like इससे ज़्यादा मुझे like I can't like I don't want to be that guy who thinks that I'm better than that guy who's come to enjoy the evening.
Right.
क्योंकि I don't want to have that attitude that के अगर if I want to do some singer songwriting thing अपने खुद के शौक के लिए मैं कर लूँगा घर पे बैठ के. But that's not like entertainment. Entertainment means that you have to kind of appeal to people. And going back to my original point, which is कि सबका दर्द profound और beautiful नहीं होता है. In fact, most लोगों का दर्द काफ़ी वाहियात और मतलब अपने पास रखने वाली चीज़ होती है कि अपने पास रखो, अपने 4 दोस्तों के सामने रखो.
मैं तुम्हें एक इतनी खूबसूरत बात बताने वाला हूँ. You probably laugh at it. So I have this other channel called Shatir in Hindi where I give writing advice. And people send me all this writing shit, or it's all like, she left me, I was alone for 3 days, but I wanted her only. And it is usually 16 to 18-year-olds, but sometimes it's 24 years old as well. कई बार 28 साल के लोग भी होते हैं. Then I think, exactly what you said. एक तो भोसड़ी के पहले एक्सपोजर लो जाके. दुनिया के अंदर और भी चीजें हैं, ठीक है? All songs do not come out of heartbreak or lack thereof. ठीक है? And your heartbreak is petty at best. Go find a song that encapsulates it and stop writing your own. Number 1. Number 2, it's absolutely right. When you live a very procedural life, right? All you have is like, can I exaggerate this one thing that happened to me now so that people can see my pain? And the horrorness shows through. Because there isn't really any depth there. कुछ में कोई conviction नहीं होती. वो बस बोलने की बात है.
हाँ, ये मतलब एक तो पहली बात तो मैं आपकी बात से बिल्कुल सहमत हूँ. एंड टू ऐड टू व्हाट यू सेइंग इज कि यार इनका पता है प्रिविलेज पता चलता है. यू नो लाइक प्रिविलेज पता चलता है. यू नो दैट दीज आर रिच किड्स फ्रॉम गुड़गांव एंड दिल्ली हु आर writing these songs in the comfort of the ACs, in the comfort of their home. So sometimes,
but there is nothing wrong with that also, right? They can't be blamed for where they're born. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be like fuck. Of course.
That's not my point. My point is that don't take yourself that seriously, yaar. Like, relax. हो गया यार. And you have to also be okay to the idea that you might suck.
Right.
Because if you're not okay with that idea, अगर तुम बिल्कुल कांच के बने हो और तुम मतलब जिस दिन तुम्हें आईना दिखा दिया और बोल दिया यार ये ना असल में ये हैक नहीं कर रहा, तुम चकनाचूर हो जाओगे यार. क्योंकि मैं तो इतनी बार रिजेक्शन देखी है जिंदगी में, क्लब ओनर्स से, फेलो म्यूजिशियन से, म्यूजिक टीचर्स से. ठीक है यार, किसी अब कोई बोलेगा मैं बोलूँगा यार मैं अपनी दुकान चला रहा हूँ बहनचोद. आई हैव पीपल हु कम एंड आई एम एंजॉयिंग दिस शिट, राइट? अब आपको नहीं खरीदना है तो आप शांति स्टोर जाओ या कहीं और जाओ. मेरी दुकान में आपको आने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है, ठीक है? मैं अपना अगर आपको लगता है कि आई शुड हैव मोर इंटेलेक्चुअल दिस थिंग वैल्यू, तो आप शशि थरूर की किताब पढ़ो, शशि थरूर या सलमान रुश्दी की किताब पढ़ो यार. मेरी दुकान जैसी है वैसे मुझे चलाने दो भाइयों. मैं संतुष्ट हूँ. In the sense कि I also have an idea of where I'm coming from in terms of what I want to do. And किसी को नहीं पसंद है. And similarly, the thing is like, look at somebody like Pratik Kuhade. I hate that music.
I hate it as well.
Stupid music. But let me give credit where credit is due. He knows how to write songs. Okay, he understands songwriting. It is a professional product. He knows how to write songs. He's worked hard at being able to write songs. He's worked hard at making that music work, and that is credit where credit is due. I might not be the market, but there's several other people who are the market. And the thing is, as a professional, I can understand that here is a guy who's writing about topics that I'm not particularly fond of. It's similar like in Netflix. Like if I see like, you know, like this these Kandi rom-coms wali, this line. I'm just going to go sailing past it.
Correct.
Right? But usko aata hai likhna yaar. And credit where credit is due. Like, at least it is in a place where people are struggling to understand first what content is. What is content? What is content? In the sense that are you looking at reinventing the wheel, or are you trying to say that, okay, I like XYZ and I'm going to try and do something similarly? So my humble advice is, first, if you want to write a song, model it on a famous song. Copy the structure. Right? Try and write parallelly to it, and try and compare your song to a famous song, and try and have that as a key. Like examiners have keys, right? When they're marking exam sheets.
Right.
Similarly, have a key so that you don't completely lose the plot. Have some kind of guidelines. And the second is edit. Please edit. There are too many words in your songs, man. You look at any of these guys who are putting out music, they're just too many words. At
what
least
is that Beyonce song? There is Who Run the World, Girls, Girls, Girls. That's the song.
हाँ तो मतलब चलो at least it's to the point ना.
That's my point. It is so succinct. It works so well.
बात तो समझ में आती है ना. यहाँ पे यार, why do you have to take me here? Why do you have to leave me here? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Shut up. Nobody cares. Except for your friends and your family. Except for your friends and family, nobody cares.
Yeah, even your friends and family are usually like pretending to care. They don't also really care.
हाँ मतलब कोई ना कोई अच्छा ठीक है यार. मतलब गर्ल्स का होता है कि कई बार कंफ्यूजन हो जाता है थोड़ा सा. Are you getting likes for how you look, or are you getting likes for your for what you've written, what you put out? ठीक है, मतलब इतना horribly sexist चीज़ें नहीं कह रहा, because there are lots of people.
No. I see what you mean. Of course.
There are lots of girls who write amazing songs, right? Like there's a friend of mine called Anisha Uppal. She writes good songs. Again, it's not music that I want to listen to ever, but she knows how to write songs. Right?
That's very important.
She knows how to write songs. She understands the craft of song writing. And if you've trained as a guitar player, or you've trained even as a singer, it doesn't mean that you've trained in the craft of writing songs. One big example that I can think of is Neil Diamond. Neil Diamond first started writing songs for bands like the Monkees and stuff like that. And he had hits because he sold his songs. Then you know what he realized? I'm writing all these songs. Now I just need to learn how to sing. Then he started to learn how to sing.
Then he killed it.
And then he became as big as Elvis in the 70s, you know. And here a lot of people think, yaar, isme kya hai? Gaana hi to likhna hai. Like, nahi. To put two words, string two words together, it is like, it's not everybody's cup of tea. And if it's not your cup of tea, team up with somebody who writes great lyrics. You know,
right.
You can always have a partnership. Elvis didn't write his own songs. No shame in that. Understand, you have to be honest with yourself to understand that, look, I'm good at I have a skill set. Because I'm not bringing anything to the table. I'm bringing great vocal ability. Now, if I team up with somebody, maybe I write the vocal melody, somebody else puts the words, and together it's a team. Everybody can't do everything. You know, like I can't do 10 other things, man. Like in a band,
right.
Like I can't play guitar. I can't play guitar like my friend Shailendra does in my band. Like, because I know Shailendra plays like fucking 10 times better than me or something, right? So I feel, okay, great, no ego. Even though I know how to solo on the guitar, I'm like, no ego. Let him handle it. Let me handle what I am equipped to do.
Right.
Right. It's a teamwork.
That's what defines the partnership of two very famous bands, one Led Zeppelin and the other Beatles. Led Zeppelin, for a while, Jimmy Page says the only reason, Robert Plant was there because he had a very gravelly voice. He couldn't sing properly. But he wrote the first 2 albums in their entirety, all the lyrics. And after that, Plant came in. And then they had a real partnership where Plant would sing and Page would play.
Plant also wrote Thank You.
Plant also wrote Thank You, which...
Plant wrote Thank You.
He wrote some great songs. And then they had a very good writing partnership. If you think about Kashmir...
Thank You is the start. Thank You is really the start of him writing. Of Plant starting to write. And then they kind of did this whole thing, 2 line tu lik, 2 line main likhta hu type scene, and
it worked though, because if you listen to, so Thank You was in Led Zeppelin 2, or was it in Led Zeppelin 3?
I'm confused now, man. I was like, you read my mind, bro. Like, I think it's 3.
Let me look it up.
Yeah,
so,
I think it's...
Thank You was in Led Zeppelin 2.
No, it's 2.
Okay.
3 had the other acoustic songs, na? It had Going to California, Bronnia Stomp.
No. That's in Led Zeppelin 3.
3.
Led Zeppelin 3 with the white cover.
Yeah. 3 is the one where they go back to the farmhouse and they start writing these acoustic songs.
Correct. Bronnia Stomp, Out on the Dial, Since I've Been Loving You, all of those songs. And then what I was saying is, so after Led Zeppelin 4, at least for me, is when they really started to cement their songwriting partnership.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And then of course, by the time you reach House of the Holy, it's the pinnacle of their ability together, and then begins the descent.
Right.
Because then begins the descent of Page's heroin addiction, and enter John Paul Jones. Now John Paul Jones in the later era picks up and he takes over the songwriting mantle.
So Houses of the Holy was the last one, and then they've got Presence.
Album 5. After album 5. It's album 5.
Album 5. So and after that,
that's the one
Presence,
Kashmir.
And then there's In Through the Outdoor, and after that,
you know what? I haven't even heard those albums properly. I'll be honest. I mean, a lot of people like it. I've not heard
very
those
forgettable.
albums.
Physical Graffiti before after Houses of the Holy, they've got Physical Graffiti. Then they've got Presence. Finally, they have In Through the Outdoor.
And then, of course, there's that Coda is that compilation.
Have you listened to Coda, the one that they did with the Bombay Orchestra?
No. You know what? For me, Led Zeppelin is early Led Zeppelin. It's the Bring It On Home and stuff like that. And so for me, Led Zeppelin is that stuff.
No, I used to try to scream like Robert Plant all the time, and I thought that the girls in the class would find that very seductive. Of course, I did not know at the time that not everyone has a high register, and you have to really get there before you can. Otherwise, you just sound like a dead dog. So
no, it's just it's a unique. He had a unique voice in that sense. It was
very shrill, but also pleasant at the same time.
Yeah, he got a lot of flack in the beginning. He got trashed by magazines and all in the beginning, and it's almost to a point where they stopped reading. But then that's the thing, every time somebody comes in who's unique, and it's different, then it's not, it becomes, it takes a little while for people to
accept them.
Accept them, because they come in and it's different, right? But if you think about it, even how different Dave Mustaine sounds, or I know you're going to want to beat me with a shoe, but even Himesh Reshammiya to some degree.
For sure. No, not going to beat you with a shoe.
He got flack for some reason. I thought the reason that Himesh Reshammiya got flack was unnecessary, man. I was like, yaar, I mean, you're hating on this guy needlessly. As someone, he came out when I was in college, and I was like, you know what? These songs are catchy. I don't mind them. I don't have a problem with these songs.
Even Badshah, for that matter, he just knows how to write songs that affect everyone.
And entertain. Oh my God. I saw Badshah concert, and I learned so much about stage performance, presence. They're really good entertainers, man. I mean, I might not like that music, but they're really, really good entertainers. And
I think, yesterday, this author called James Clear made this beautiful tweet that I would like to share. He said, a Chilean saying is, it is very easy to criticize music, but it becomes hard when you have a guitar in your hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like when you're in the profession, you can no longer be that critic where you just give out observations. Ye ghatiya hai, ye bakwas hai. Because you can start seeing the complexity, like what you're saying in this conversation throughout. Now, I might not like this music, but I have to give credit where credit is due. You know, when we start belonging to the fraternity, you realize the effort it takes to go out there and perform.
For sure, but where I disagree is that some people just refuse to learn. Some people just flat out refuse to learn, and it's just, and the world has changed now, and you also have to become good at making content if you wish to have a career. That's one thing. Second is that I see people don't. You have to understand, what your best foot forward is, and what the world wants from you. It's a combination of those two things.
Right. They call it product market fit.
I think Jim Carrey said that best. The best you have to offer, and the best of what the world needs from you.
Right.
But for a lot of people, they get like ज़्यादा जज्बाती हो जाते हैं, and like कि मैं हूँ, and my world revolves around me. मैंने लिखा है, मैंने इतनी सोच लगाई है इसमें. Guess what? Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
And people will always be polite. People will always be care. Okay. And then there'll be a bracket of people who are just who are appreciative about anything and everything.
Pure cynics.
They're just they're just appreciative about anything and everything, because they're like, oh, some art is better than no art. I'm unfortunately not one of those guys. Like, I was just like, yaar, कर रहे हो तो ढंग से करना चाहिए, और do it to the best of your ability.
Right.
Do it to the best of whoever's ability. So,
bro, Uday, it's been lovely having you on the podcast.
It's my pleasure, bro.
I love that we've been riffing on for about an hour and a half about all of these different topics. I wanted to get you on because out of sheer curiosity. I was like, I just want to have a conversation with this person. That's it. And we made it happen. We talked yesterday, and here we are. I definitely hope to see you once this pandemic ends and we can meet, grab a drink. I can come to one of your shows in Delhi.
Right.
For the people who are tuning in, where can they find you? You have an Instagram, right? As Guy Velvet?
Just Guy Velvet _ my handle. I'm currently working on my YouTube channel also. And I'm still really new at this YouTube thing and Instagram thing. But you can find me on Instagram for now. Most of the updates of whatever I do, it's all there. And धीरे धीरे बढ़ता जाएगा.
If we can figure out a setup of some kind, I don't know, what is your intention with the YouTube channel at least? What are you trying to do on that?
Just put out songs.
Songs, right?
Whatever covers that I do, and whatever songs that I'm writing right now, because I really enjoy working with this the band that I have right now. I'm going to put out originals and just continue to grow as a singer and as an entertainer.
Fantastic. And can people listen to your recording somewhere? I know that you're primarily a live act right now and there's less studio material, but if they have to listen to some of your stuff, where can they find that out?
I think just type for Guy Velvet and you'll find it on YouTube.
Oh, it is on YouTube?
I only have 2 things up right. Yeah, it is on YouTube. As well as, even if they take the Instagram and they connect it to the speakers, any good speakers, I've had everything mixed and mastered, right? So fidelity is not going to be a problem. You
Fantastic.
You'll hear things of like certain fidelity. Right?
I also look forward to it. I thought that I would probably just find your stuff on Instagram, but I'll definitely check out the YouTube as well. And I was going to say,
it's the same stuff. I'm just because it's just the too many mediums. I don't have anyone to manage this for me.
Right.
So I'm also just going along with this and figuring out how this online jungle works.
Of course. Yeah, I've amassed somewhat of a decent audience on my Hindi channel and like somewhat of here as well. Not a lot, but I'm fairly decent and like pretty engaged. So I would say, I'd be down to collaborate in the future as well if you want to explore what this medium has to offer. A lot of it relies on collaboration.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's my pleasure. I think think you're good at what you do, man. Like I've enjoyed this conversation
Likewise, man.
Immensely.
Yeah, I think we both share a love for rock and roll. I like nostalgia. I like talking to people about how they did what they did, and that's why it was a great conversation. हो गया, चलो हम दोनों ने अपना बहुत मुंह मियां मिट्ठू कर लिया अब.
हाँ, नहीं सही था यार, मतलब मुझे वाकई में मजा है ऐसे.
I'm glad.
मैं लाइक झूठ नहीं बोलता यार ऐसे. I've been quite candid.
Likewise, yeah, I can see that in the conversation as well. ठीक है, people can follow you and Guy Velvet on Instagram and figure it out on YouTube. ठीक है, hopefully when live performances return, they can even see you at the Piano Man whenever that happens.
Yeah,
or other venues.
Hopefully we're working at it, and hopefully we're gonna organize a concert for benefit. When the cases drop considerably, we'll hopefully organize a concert for benefit, because a lot of the poor has gotten affected, and
right.
So a couple of us are in the talks for trying our best, because we're also people who are struggling at the moment. Like हमारे पास भी पैसे नहीं है, क्योंकि हमारी gigs, हमारी भी livelihood काफी affect हुई है,
right.
Pandemic की वजह से. But हम अपनी तरफ से जो artists कर सकते हैं, जरूर, जो भी affected हुआ pandemic से.
ठीक है bro, चलो, let's see you on the other side.